What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Freddy and Friends. Got a real treat for you. One of my best friends here in LA, actor, entrepreneur, car collector, gym owner, body sculptor. Did I miss anything?
No. No.
Grant Roberts.
Okay,
What's up,
well,
brother?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I can't complain.
Good.
Another great day in California.
Beautiful day out there.
It's finally getting there, the weather, yeah. We moved. We have a new house.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
Sweet.
So, got the pool and enjoying everything.
Mm-hmm.
You guys got to come over.
Just say what?
when I'm actually in town.
Yeah, you're gone all the time.
So how you been? What are you working on?
What am I working on? Holding down the fort mostly. The majority of my time spent in the dungeon, as you know.
Yep.
Tucked away in Beverly Hills.
Yep.
I'm there usually for sure 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And then I have my side projects. No real cool side projects at the moment. Just wrapped up an interesting one. We did a boxing thing. Got some really cool ones in the hopper. But the majority of my time is just getting people prepped and ready.
Last I talked to you, was it Mexico? You were going to do a shoot?
Well, that was a while ago. I did
Was
the
it?
Mexico shoot. The last thing I did,
Or somewhere else?
last one involved Idaho, Florida, somewhere else. We were doing a boxing flick that's going to come out in September.
Nice.
It's a really cool story. It's the Christy Martin story. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that.
No.
She was probably one of the first female boxers to sort of break through. Interesting story. I think she got discovered entering a tough man contest, and when she won the tough man contest. I'm assuming there's only a couple of girls that entered the event, but a guy in the audience noticed her, said, "Hey, I think you got some skills." Happened to be a boxing trainer.
Yeah.
Took her right up the ladder. She was on the undercard of some Tyson fights. She was on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I won't give away the movie, but
Okay.
it's a strange one.
All right. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's worth watching. Actually, I think there's a documentary on ESPN about her.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I guess the most recent press-worthy thing I saw that you did was the guy that did the Menendez movie. You
That
trained
was
him,
also
right?
a while ago. Yeah, Nicholas
Yeah.
Chavez.
You built him up. I remember seeing him in the gym.
Yeah.
Kind of from
Yeah.
here to.
You know, we were just talking the other day, and the time is flowing. I think we've already been together now for well over 2 years, maybe more. And it seems like yesterday. All of these
Seems like
projects seem like so recent,
Yeah.
but they're really fun because you get somebody starting from nothing. Nicholas is an interesting story. As you know, I'm pretty secluded where I am, and I don't do a lot of advertising.
Yeah.
Any advertising.
Zero.
And I have a landline. And
You have a landline?
Yeah, I have a landline there.
What's
'Cause
a
it comes
what's a
with-
landline, Greg? Can you elaborate?
It comes with the internet, apparently. And so every once in a while I hear my phone ring, but I never answer it because
Yeah.
I don't give the number out.
Yeah.
And the answering machine was full. And so I just randomly pressed the button, and there were messages there from most of it's, scam messages, whatever.
Sure.
But every once in a while, hey, this is Nicholas Chavez. And I really want to be a superhero. And the message went on and the story. And I was like, yeah, that's
Couldn't
funny.
he find somebody that knew you to get your cell?
I don't know, but anyways, after he'd called 3 or 4 times, and I finally returned the call, and I said, yeah, hey man, tell me about yourself, and not knowing anything about him, he came in, and he's about 6'1", maybe 6'2".
Big, yeah, he seemed like a big,
about
he seemed
170
pretty big.
pounds.
Yeah.
So slight.
Yeah.
And he took it like to a fish to water.
Yeah.
And within a few months, he was well over 200 pounds. We put over 30 pounds on him.
Yeah.
He landed the Menendez gig, and his life is completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
He's made probably 4 or 5 movies now, so he's doing amazing.
That's amazing, yeah. You're known for, and I refer to you as a body sculptor because I don't consider you like really a trainer because, I mean, I've worked out with you for years, and
It's hard to put a label on it.
you have a way where you look at a physique and you know what to do with it. It's like you need you need some delt, you need some rear delt, you need a little trap, you need a little calf, and you get to work. I mean, it's not about all this fluffy shit. You just get right to work and quickly. I mean, when I work out with you, I always tell people it's like it's night and day. Number one, I don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the results are immediate. And I've been working out a long time, but it's like when you do the shit with you, it's just pops. And how do you do that?
I wish I knew the answer. I just don't know how the other people don't do it.
Yeah, right.
Frankly, it's because to me, it's a symphony of things that happen. Like, obviously, I control, or I try to control, the nutrition and the lifestyle environment of the individual. And then, like you say, I don't really create a program and then go, here's the program, here's what we're going to follow.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It's sort of, as the day goes, I see things, and I look at what I want to hit, and I try to be as precise as possible. And it just evolves day after day after day. And eventually the outcome is hopefully a balanced, functional, strong, healthy physique. I'm not looking to just create shape.
Yeah.
There's also function involved in athleticism.
Definitely function, yeah. A lot with, like, for instance, if I'm working out with you, a lot of cables, a lot of high tension kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Never get hurt, though.
Well, I'm getting long in the tooth as far as, the training for myself, and I've had to evolve to avoid injury.
Right.
And I think cables is one of the best mechanisms out there. You can play with cables, and it's obviously an incredibly safe environment.
Yeah.
There's not too much that can happen or go wrong.
Yeah.
And you can play with the angles. And so I genuinely love training with cables. That's not to say I don't use free weight. Of course I do.
Of course. Yeah.
But I do gravitate towards cable.
What's your training like these days? Are you still...
Well, I continue to...
If you have a second to actually...
I haven't. I've been taking a break. I actually, unfortunately, tore my quad.
Oh man.
3-4 months ago now. So my training is, as you can see, my physique is a little deflated. But
you're no spring chicken.
I'm not a spring chicken, and the injuries I've had doesn't bode well when I talk about it, because people assume it happens because of my training personally.
Yeah.
And the majority of my injuries come from a car accident I had many years ago, where I was literally in and out of hospital for 6 years.
You were prior. You were a championship bodybuilder in Canada, correct?
Yeah, I'd won a Mr. Canada title, and I'd never really labeled myself as a bodybuilder. I enjoyed bodybuilding because I like the aesthetics and I like the balance.
Yeah.
But I always considered myself a strength athlete.
I'll never forget, and it was a couple of years ago. We were in there working out, and I don't know if you could still do this. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But you grabbed a 100-pound dumbbell with your fingers and moved it.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It was pretty scary. Like, literally just grabbed it and moved it with your fingers. That's...
I was blessed with some pretty decent strength. I think I hang on to a little bit of it, but the challenge as you get older, for sure, is one, training intelligently, and starting to put, I hate to say put limits on it. There's we did a movie a long time ago, Gran Torino, and Toby Keith.
Yeah,
I'm sure this is the right movie. At the end of the movie, Clint sings a song by Toby Keith, and I believe the song was called "Don't Let the Old Man In." And I think it's such a great analogy, where you can't have that attitude of saying, I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
You can never admit that. You just have to find a path,
Find a way to get it done, or pretend you can get it done, but you can't admit to yourself that it can't be done.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Why? Like I said, it's just the results that I get when I work out with you versus on my own, completely different, and so quick. But I think the main thing is the injuries, because not getting, as you get older, you still want to get under a bench press and throw weight around and do all this stupid shit. I always get hurt, and like, what is your philosophy on that? It's...
I guess train intelligently, number one, understand, you always have to push the limits, and I've done that my entire career, and there's times I've certainly,
I guess that's what I'm asking. Yeah. Pushing the limits versus getting hurt.
That's the great thing about limits, is you don't know where it is until you cross it.
Yeah.
And I've definitely crossed it, but I don't think I've had any devastating injuries as a result of training. But you always want to maintain an attitude of pushing that envelope. It's just, it's critically important that that's your attitude.
Yeah, I think people are struggling with that one.
I think you're 100% right. I think most people have no idea what pushing themselves is.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing I try to do is look at what I believe is the limit of that person and bring them towards it.
Yeah.
And help them surprise themselves.
I think you know more than they know.
I have a unique ability of being able to look at a person and know what they can do for whatever exercise. And I'm rarely wrong, where I can grab the weight, hand them the weight, and it's usually the right weight.
It's the good starting point, at least, yeah. And then from there you can evolve,
it's a weird party trick, but it's something I can do.
You're known for like rapid transformations, like the Hilary Swank thing is what
that's my job.
Drew a lot of attention. I mean,
studios don't like to spend money, and they're always in a hurry, and they want it now.
Right.
So it feels like a bit of name that tune when I get into negotiations.
Yeah.
I don't love it. I would love more time, but the majority of time I get generally 10, 12 weeks.
Wow.
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
I got 9 weeks.
What condition was she in coming into the game?
That's kind of a funny story. I was walking down the street and my phone rang and the guy goes, "Hey, this is Clint." And I'm like, "Yeah, who is this? Who's really calling me?"
Yeah.
It turns out it was Clint Eastwood, but he goes, I need you to do me a favor. And of course, absolutely. What do you need? He goes, "Well, I've got this girl, and we're going to do a boxing movie." And he goes on to a little bit of detail, and he did mention her name, Hilary.
Yeah.
And but by the time the call ended, I had arrangements to get to. I had to be in New York.
Yeah.
I think it was the next day or the following day I got to New York, and I go to Warner Brothers offices somewhere on Fifth Avenue. I'm in the penthouse and waiting, and in walks Hilary Swank, and I didn't know who Hilary Swank was.
You know who she was, yeah.
And she introduced herself. She goes, "Hi, I'm Hilary." I go, "Hi." I go, "So you're an actress?" And she goes, "Well, actually, I'm an Academy Award winning actress." I was like, "Oh, great, that's really good."
She gave it to you.
Yeah. in jest.
Yeah,
she's lovely. Sure. We're still great friends.
Yeah.
And that's another testament. I think some of the jobs I've had, I've really developed some great friendships because,
I'm sure,
as you know, you're spending an hour more in a gym every day.
It's intimate, yeah. I mean,
day after day after day after day. You learn everything about the person and such. But anyways, I quickly learned that she had a trainer.
Okay.
And I think she's about 5'7", 5'7" and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time she was, I'm going to say, maybe 108.
Tiny.
Oh,
that's thin.
She's very slight girl.
Wow.
But athletic, very athletic.
Yeah.
And I go, "Well, tell me more about this role." I know nothing about it. She goes, "Well, I'm going to fight the real life heavyweight, the real life 140-pound girl boxing champion, Lucia Riker."
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm doing math in my head, going 108, 140. Lucia walks around at 150 because she'll cut for a fight. And that's 6-7 weight classes.
It's big, yeah.
And I don't know, again, know nothing about this upcoming film.
Let me guess, she's a vegetarian or something too, right?
She's a vegetarian.
I'm good.
she was a vegetarian.
She's a fucking vegetarian. Yeah.
And also I'm like, great. And I'm thinking, what do we got for time?
Yeah.
And she goes, "We start filming in 9 weeks."
Wow.
And I go, okay. Me thinking analytically, like, okay. And then when are the boxing scenes?
Yeah.
Well, the climactic fight scene is scene 1. So we have to deliver her in a ring fighting the actual 140-pound champion of the world, Lucia Riker, in 9 weeks.
Wow.
It was quite a challenge, but she was amazing. We basically spent every waking moment getting her ready one way or another, because she was either learning her lines or learning how to box, or getting prepped.
And so she was nonstop. I mean,
it was. Well, I mean, I was force feeding her. I had her waking up in the middle of the night drinking shakes.
I guess you'd have to at that point, yeah.
Yeah.
So what'd you get her up to?
I think we ended up at right around 132. I think 134. So she had to look like an underdog, which she did, but it had to be believable, and it was.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It brings up another point. You're walking down the street one day. How do you go from wherever you were at that moment to there's a Clint Eastwood call? He apparently found your number. So how does that happen? Like, what were you doing prior?
It didn't really matter. Like, that was
no, it didn't matter, but it does now. For us.
I mean, I'm going to drop everything to do that job.
Yeah, sure.
And that was actually my big break. That was a big break for me.
But how did he?
Like,
who turned you on to him?
I don't know where
him on
all of my clients come from.
Okay.
I don't advertise. I've never advertised a day in my life.
Wow.
In fact, I think I try to be evasive.
Yeah.
I remember being.
It's great for business.
No, worst business model in the world.
Yeah, no, it's awesome.
I did an interview once, and at the end of the interview, the guy said, "So how can people find you?" I go, "They can't."
They can't.
And I just left the interview like that.
You owned gyms prior.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
chains
yeah,
of gyms and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
Or
yeah. That's I owned my very first gym when I was 17 years old.
wow.
Decided it's what I wanted to do. Me being maybe not the brightest I was at that point in my life, thinking this will be great. I'll have a gym. I can train all day. It'd be amazing.
Sure.
And that's the last.
You did it for those reasons.
The last thing, of course, it was completely selfish and self-centered.
Yeah.
And I had no money of any kind.
Yeah.
Like broker than broke. And I convinced a bank to loan me. Well, convinced the bank to loan me $10,000, but I had to convince my parents to co-sign, which was not the easiest thing to do either. But they reluctantly did it. And of course, 10 grand is not going to build you a gym, even though that was 100 years ago.
Yeah, still.
I still had to. So what I did was I manufactured my own equipment. I actually designed it and built my own equipment.
Jeez, you have some of that stuff in.
No, that stuff will be long gone. It'll be, but I do still design and build equipment.
You do. You do. Okay. So your business model, I mean,
it's the worst business model. I would.
What kind of business guy are you?
I don't know the answer to that question. I'm not a big planner. I know what I want, and I tend to sort of go after it.
Oh, I love that. When did the affinity for acting kind of? Because you've been in a lot of movies.
I've been in a few movies. Yeah, I've had 3 passions in life, in no specific order: cars, movies, and anything athletic.
Yeah.
As I said, I love strength, athleticism. I love any sport that involves, power, agility, and strength.
Yeah. Huh. It's crazy. Tell me about the cars. You still got 15 or so?
No, I wish if I had 15, life would be easier. I think I have 24, 25.
Oh, come on.
At the moment, yeah.
It grew significantly.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a terrible, terrible hobby.
No, it's an awesome hobby.
Well, it is, but then, I actually on purpose stagger my insurance and registrations.
Sure, you have
because if they hit me 1 month, I would sell them all.
You'd have to get rid of them all.
This is insane. Yeah.
So what have you gotten recently? Because I haven't seen you in a while. Anything?
Well, recently, I think the last purchase was a 68 International Scout. That I picked up when I was in Idaho training.
Oh, that's new,
Yeah, I was training Sydney for the movie, and I saw it in the field. And
really?
Yeah, that was that. Love at first sight.
Couldn't resist.
I can't resist. I'm so impulsive around cars. When people say, "Hey," because I really love cars, and a lot of my clients go, "Hey, can you go car shopping with me?" And almost inevitably, I come home with a car when I go car shopping.
What do you got your eye on?
I'm probably leaning towards something a little more modern, something a little more sports oriented. Maybe if I was to go newer, I'd probably maybe looking at a 48 Ferrari, or if I go classic, wouldn't mind getting like a 72 Camaro.
You've turned me on to that electric Hummer.
Oh yeah,
by just constantly chatting about it.
Yeah.
And I actually really like it.
Literally giving them away. This is not
I know they're like
for,
$100K. Yeah,
no, but the leases are. I've never leased a car in my life. But if you want to get into one cheap, yeah, I'm
like
giving a plug to GM right now. But yeah, $600-700, you get yourself a Hummer.
What I like about it is you can take the top off. Essentially,
I've only taken one out a couple of times, and I'm surprised I didn't come home with it from the dealership. But I really like it.
I really like it too. Yeah, it's on my.
GM's going to send us cars, right? So how this works?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm calling them after this. Absolutely. Yeah, I really like that car. I love the idea of the open roof on a truck.
Yeah, the turning radius is cool.
Yeah, it's supposed to be pretty good. Mm-hmm. All right. So the Camaro as well.
72. I'm looking at. I think that's a pretty cool car. I'm going to trade out a few of the ones I have and re-up my.
Is like so. I know. Cars can get too old from what I understand sometimes, right? I mean, in terms of the value.
Oh, the value
like
certainly
the value
go
starts
up and down. Yeah.
So like 70s a sweet spot now, like cars
no,
from the 70s?
I think that's a really good question. I think still, probably, I think I'm close on this. probably the most searched car right now is still a 67 Mustang.
Still?
Yeah, I have 2 of those.
Jeez.
I think second are the classic Broncos.
What you have?
I have 2 of those.
Yep. And you've flipped some of those too. I know
Yeah, I've had a
you've
few
had
more.
a few, yeah.
Yeah, I've had a few.
Yeah.
The Cudas, Chargers.
Chargers,
I still have one Charger left. I have a 68 Charger. It's an awesome car.
Yeah.
I think those still stay in the sweet spot, but I have like an older Corvette. That seems
That
to,
I've never seen, yeah.
the 64. I think that's dropped in value a little bit.
Really?
I look at them all as investments, and for the most part, they're all appreciating.
That's cool.
For the most part, yeah. The oldest car I have is a 32 Ford.
You got a 32 Ford. Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah.
So I know, I mean, obviously you've been in the fitness game for a long time, and you've seen the trends, you've seen the real shit, the fluff, and I would say a guy like you, right, that's out there now doing your thing at the level you do it for the people you do it for. What do you think of this, like the landscape right now? Like if you just go online and
the internet,
the internet,
Instagram,
yes.
People keep sending me TikTok videos. And they go, ask me what I think. I go, I don't have TikTok, so I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
You're on the gram.
I am on the Instagram.
You're on the gram.
As you can tell,
the Instagram.
I post once every 2 months religiously. So I actually don't really post much. I may repost stuff, but I find it somewhat comical, that world. And I think a lot of people try to gain information thinking they've discovered the holy grail that somebody out there said, this is the new thing.
Yeah.
And you do see these trends that that Instagram does tend to promote. Like people talk more about creatine than they ever done before. And it's not anything new. Creatine's always been a solid supplement. And it's gone through its waves where people thought, oh, it's dangerous. It's not dangerous. And
they now know it's not. I mean, it's been around so long.
It's part of the ATP fuel system. But, you'll see these trends, and then you see other things that are just ridiculous because it's almost like somebody has to reinvent a wheel to get attention. And I don't even want to lend credibility to any of the people out there that are making up some of these falsehoods. But, it still comes down to... basically, the message I would say to anybody is look for empirical evidence. If you want to experiment, great. Everything's about experimentation. My whole career has been experimentation because when I started, none of this stuff existed.
Sure.
Right? There were muscle magazines, but that was it.
Yeah.
And even in the muscle magazines, they were obviously highly influenced by, every muscle magazine is owned by a supplement company. So it was either Weider or whomever.
Of course.
And that's their method of promoting their products. Every bodybuilder that writes an article says, I take this and I take that, which some ghostwriter wrote. It's not even remotely true.
And what about the drugs and stuff? Has that changed dramatically, or like?
Well, the drug.
the rapid transformations too for a lot of these people. I mean, there's a lot of peptides and all kinds of shit people are taking.
I think that's the biggest evolution since when I began. Now in the last, let's say, 20 plus years, we're seeing more away from the basics and starting to be a little more interesting as far as the peptides, the SARMs, and the other hormones, obviously, that are becoming more mainstream. I think you're seeing TRT is pretty.
TRT is basically like it's like a Tylenol at this point. I mean,
especially in this area of the world,
sure.
It's sort of a sub business for a lot of doctors. I still don't appreciate the fact that people are ignorant about it, or that they don't understand. At the end of the day, nutrition is always going to be the king of developing any physique.
Of course, and the work.
Yeah, the work. And supplementation obviously is an important factor, but none of it.
I mean, they got guys in there. Just normal guys that are not even trying to do anything with their physiques and stuff on TRT that don't need it too. I mean, it's just like prescribed it's just crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it's good for the environment. I think that there's not a lot of education, and I think that there's a lot of cookie cutter physicians out there that are just saying here, and they're pretending it's some amazing protocol, and it is what it is.
There's so many trends, and maybe we could sift through some of these with like food and diet, right? Like eat meat, don't eat meat. Vegetables are bad. Dairy, whatever. It just goes on and on and on and on. I mean, what's been the cornerstone of your success, or with people you work with at the end of the day, nutritionally?
Well, I have a lot of pet peeves that I would like to change. I think the language or the lexicon of fitness needs to evolve. It's completely oversimplified. We're still seeing a lot of inane talk about it's simple as calories, or it's they don't hear it as much anymore, but people thinking the body mass index is a relevant gauge of success.
You were one to always say that the body fat percentage is bullshit too, kind of like it's not like to be 3-4% body fat's it's not even possible.
Body fat percentage is an amazing gauge, but people don't understand it.
Yeah.
So I would say that the majority of the world out there, and athletes are one of the worst culprits of this, is that I've heard athletes go, yeah, I'm 2% body fat, or I'm 4% body fat.
Yeah.
It's not even humanly possible.
It's not possible.
No, because one, they don't know what they're talking about, and two, if you were to look at a ultra ripped professional bodybuilder on stage, Mr. Olympia, paper thin skin,
dry it out,
all dehydrated, you can literally see every vein in his body. He's still 6%, and that's a bare, and he's clinging to life with that.
He's clinging to life. Those guys are half dead.
No brain function. Doesn't know his name. Doesn't know what day it is. You're at your absolute unhealthiest when you're that lean. But that's the reality of body fat percentage. Performing athletic body fat percentage for a male is generally 10-12%. Is where you've got a decent amount of strength. You've got some endurance ability, and you're gonna be. Most of the world will think you're ripped.
You're still pretty lean.
Very lean. You're very visible. Six pack. So. To describe that, we have to talk about what is essential fat. So your brain is 60% fat.
Sure.
Your omentum, which is the lining behind the abdominal wall, which insulates you, which regulates your body temperature, is fat, and your bone marrow is fat. So if you took those three components of fat, that's 6%.
That's 6% right
just
there.
right there.
And that's
now that you're transparent.
Yeah, you can't even get to touch that stuff.
So when an athlete says I'm 2% body fat, what they're really saying is I'm 8% body fat, if they're telling the truth.
Right.
Because what they're talking about is 2% intramuscular fat.
Right.
Right. So the fat that's sort of marbled within the muscle, that's possibly 2%.
Wow.
So then that's just they're misspeaking.
So by those standards, a male could probably be in pretty lean at 18% or 15% in that range.
Age definitely plays a factor, but I think anytime a male is in the teens, it's safe to say that they're decently lean.
They're decently lean.
And then a female would be in the 20s. Typically speaking, you're looking at 5 to 6%, depending on the size of breasts and everything else.
Yeah.
Because obviously that's fatty tissue.
It's all fat.
We're looking at about a 6 to 8% difference in male to female, and that's where. The body mass index is something I think just has to be abolished. It makes zero sense.
Zero.
It's how we measure obesity in this country and the world, and it doesn't measure obesity.
Right.
It is a linear height and weight chart.
Yeah.
And what I think is amazing to me, I was consultant for the Surgeon General for years. If you look at the body mass index, it's got two metrics: how tall are you, and how much do you weigh?
Right. Which tells you nothing.
Right. But has no one ever thought, why does it not differentiate between male and female?
It doesn't even.
Females are not included on the body mass index.
Oh, wow.
The body mass index, not that it was ever designed for males, because it wasn't.
Yeah.
It was never designed to measure body composition, ever.
Yeah. So what's the purpose?
The purpose was to help promote the low-fat diet.
Amazing.
Yeah, which of course is not a strong diet.
Not a strong diet.
No.
Well, none of these diets really are that strong, because the low carb diet, I think, is essentially a killer.
One, I don't like using the word diet, because everybody says I'm on a diet. Everybody's on a diet, and diet just means food.
Right.
But if you go back in time, protocols. But very few people eat the same thing every day.
Yeah.
7 days a week. That's that would be a very strict diet, if you want to call it that term. Nobody does that.
Yeah.
Maybe a few people, but it's not really the norm. But if you go back to the origins of the body mass index, it was a gentleman by the name of Adolphe Quetelet, who's a Belgian. And this was, I believe, early 1900s, maybe late 1800s. He wrote a book, if you were to translate it, called The Average Man.
Mm-hmm.
And in that book, he was a statistician, and all he did was make observations. And he was looking at the men in the Belgian army.
Okay.
He goes, the average height's 5'9", but he created a graph where some guys were 5'6".
Yeah.
Some guys were 6 feet tall, or whatever it was. He created this graph.
Yeah.
And then he goes, average shoe size, 9.5.
Right.
Gain. All he was doing was creating graphs.
Yeah.
Nowhere on that graph did it say anything about body fat percentage, but somehow it past the 1950s, what was his name? Ansel Keys. Ansel Keys doctored a study where he basically decided that the low-fat diet, he made a very simple observation, which was people are getting fat, they must be eating too much fat. And he wanted to make that hypothesis stick.
Sure.
So he looked at 22 countries around the world and decided that only 7 of these countries fit his hypothesis. So let's get rid of these other 15 countries. They don't exist.
No need.
And he doctored this thing. And in order to support his theory, he included a body mass index, which he just stole from Quetelet on the graph of height and weight, saying, a healthy male should be X.
Yeah.
And if you're this, you're fat. And if you're not, you're not. But here's the big problem with the body mass index. One, it doesn't include females.
Right.
Doesn't include age of any kind. But the big thing is it doesn't talk about what's really prevalent in today's society, skinny fat, right?
Skinny fat.
So you could weigh 160 pounds, walk into your doctor's office, and he goes, "You're perfect.
You're fit. You're great."
But he could easily be 30% fat at 160 pounds.
That's right.
He could have no lean muscle mass of any real significance, but not weigh a lot. And according to the American Medical Association, you are in perfect health.
What causes skinny fat?
Skinny fat, one, you don't lift anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
So all your muscles have atrophied. You sit in a chair and you play with your phone and whatever else. And you are still technically obese. You still have all the issues of being obese, maybe pre-diabetic or metabolic syndrome or what are the other factors it could possibly be. And you are not a healthy individual, but you just don't weigh a lot.
That's it.
That's it.
You also said that you don't believe in calorie counting or calories in general.
Calories don't exist. If you can tell me what a calorie looks like,
I can.
Or what it tastes like, then let's talk about it.
Yeah, no, I can't.
But for people to oversimplify the issue and just say it's simply a matter of counting calories, nothing could be more ridiculous than that. And then to say that, well, if you eat less calories than your body needs, then you know the old sayings. How does any of this make sense? If your metrics don't make sense, first of all, when we talk about calories, we're usually talking about measuring food.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So when you say eat less calories or eat more calories, then the issue is it's suggesting that all foods are equal, and they're not. Right? You can have, there was a fascinating study done in Middlesex, England in the 1950s, where they took a group of obese patients and they fed them all approximately 1,000 calories of a macro. So one group ate, and these were 90% ratios, 90% protein, 90% fat, 90% carbohydrate. And they fed this group to see what will happen.
Yeah.
Now, if a calorie was actually a calorie, and of course they're measuring weight loss, which is not something I would ever do. I wouldn't want to measure fat loss. It's a very big difference.
Big difference.
But they did this study, and so with the group that ate protein, fats, and carbs, who lost the most weight?
Fat.
Correct. You only said that because I probably led you up to it. Most people go protein, that's not the right answer.
Yeah.
The group that ate fat lost 0.9 pounds per day.
Yeah.
The group that ate protein lost 0.6 pounds per day. And here's the fascinating fact of this study. The group that ate 1,000 calories of carbohydrates gained fat on a 1,000-calorie diet.
What do you think of that?
Well, I think it's science. I think that that's the way it works. I look at the human body very much like what it's composed of.
Yeah.
There are 6 nutrients, and they're the same 6 nutrients that we consume in food. No coincidence there, right?
That's right.
The number one ingredient in a healthy human body is what?
Protein?
Number one ingredient in a healthy human body?
Water?
Correct. You're being tested now. You can tell we're not rehearsing. What's the number 2 ingredient in a healthy human body? You just said it.
Protein.
Protein.
Yeah.
What's the number?
Fat.
Number 3 ingredient is fat.
Yeah.
Number 4, it's a trick question.
I don't know.
Minerals.
Okay.
So it doesn't mean you should consume that much minerals, but because of bone tissue.
Minerals are the whole thing,
bone.
yeah.
So we got 2 ingredients left in the healthy human body.
One is carbs.
One is carbs.
The other is vitamins.
Vitamins. Very good, Fred. Yeah. Nice. Way to go, Freddie.
Pretty good, right?
Yeah, very good.
This wasn't rehearsed.
It was not rehearsed. And so when you look at this in the order that it is, when you get down to the carbs and you get down to the vitamins, we're talking minuscule amounts, very small. The amount of sugar you can hold in your body at a given time is about this much, and that's stored in your muscle cells.
Sure.
Now here's where the catch is, and here's why the people in London gain fat on a 1,000-calorie diet of carbohydrates, because they overspilled their capacity to store carbs.
To store the glycogen.
So once the muscle cells are full of carbs, the excess,
That's it.
the excess sugar gets sent into the bloodstream.
Yes.
It's floating around the bloodstream, and it's knocking on doors of cells looking for places to grow. Yes. It's toxic. Yes. And the body says, we have to do something about this.
Tuck it away.
Tuck it away. And what do? They got you can't flush it out, so it gets sent back to the liver.
Yep.
And the liver converts it into triglycerides.
Yep.
And that gets stored as fat. And when you see metabolic syndrome, that accumulation of fat around the midsection, that's the liver giving up.
So I guess a few things here. So I was a low carber for a long time, 20 plus years, and then finally only in the last year or two really did I start dabbling to find the sweet spot. Because what I found was being on low carb diets, keto style diets, was eventually the body didn't work properly. Because I believe that and maybe I've read this, but from my experience, you need all those macros for the body to do what it's got to do. Because if you're eating just fat or just protein and not eating the carbs and it's not as balanced as it needs to be, you actually start to get pretty catabolic. I
wouldn't say catabolic, but I would say
well, I did.
You did? So when we talk about the 6 nutrients, 5 of them are essential. Now, essential doesn't mean that it might be good for you.
Carbs are one of the ones that are not essential.
Correct. Yes. That is the one that is not essential.
Yes.
The amount of carbs you need to survive is zero.
Zero. But glucose, but your body will make that. I guess my point was
gluconeogenesis takes place when your body starts feeding on breaking down protein to create glucose. Now, people will argue that the brain needs glucose, and you can argue that, or you can argue that it doesn't necessarily have to run on glucose. It can also run on ketones, right? Yes. And so ketones are derived from fat, and the gluconeogenesis turns protein into glucose, so that your body can operate in its happy spot. Now, glucose is where was I going with that? Basically, I want to say that carbs are not the enemy, right? It's not that you should avoid them.
Right.
I think that carbs are anabolic, and the biggest thing that carbs do is they allow you to play with insulin. And insulin is an anabolic hormone. Right. Anabolic, for most people that don't know, means it builds something.
Right.
Now, it can build muscle, but it can also build
fat.
Exactly.
I guess so a good question, maybe there is no answer. How do you find your sweet spot of what there's numbers out there that your body can hold X amount of grams of glycogen or whatever.
The amount of glycogen you can store is how much muscle you have. The more muscle you have, the more glycogen you can store.
Exactly. So how do you, I would imagine through experimentation of eating carbs, you can find out your sweet spot.
Well,
before it starts to spill
metabolism definitely plays a role, and I think this is where it becomes very individualized, and this is where I sort of specialize. Like I have devices, as you know, in my place where I will measure you, and I will know how much lean mass you have. I will know your bone density. Yeah. I'll know how much fat mass you have.
Yeah.
And that's what I decide how to feed you.
Right.
And I also have a 3D analyzer in my office, and I create a digital 3D image of you. And then when I think I do things differently than any other trainer, where I am accountable to you, my client, where we walk in day one and I measure you, and I go, "This is you. You have this much. You have this much muscle. You have this much fat.
Yeah.
You're this hydrated, and we obviously want to improve hydration.
Yeah.
And then I create a digital 3D image of you, and then we sit down and we look at your image, and it spins around 360 degrees, and we talk about you. We talk about what your vision of you is, because it might not be the same as mine. Now, I know what aestheticism is, and I know what I want you to look like, but you may go, no, I want, big giant arms, and I want skinny little legs, and that's what you want.
Yeah.
We'll deliver that for you reluctantly. But
of course,
but then I become accountable, right? And then when people say this isn't working, I go, it's working.
It's working.
Nobody's ever said that, but genuinely speaking, we can prove within any doubt what's happened, because people go, I weigh exactly the same. Yeah, but you've lost 10 pounds of fat, and you've put on 11 pounds of muscle.
Right.
You're not the same person.
Not the same person. Is it true that carbohydrates are essentially the only real way to hydrate, though? Like,
No,
to actually hold. I mean, you could drink water and stuff, but by eating carbohydrates, it helps you hydrate.
Well, I mean, as the name, so yes and no. Carbohydrates are not the only way to hydrate the human body. Potassium hydration is kept by the sodium potassium pump.
Yes.
Okay, so those two elements are what drive water in or out of the cell.
Yes.
Sodium pulls it out, potassium pushes it in. So that's how we hydrate a body. Carbohydrates obviously help retain. Yeah, they're basically it acts like
it's a sponge. Yeah.
Yeah. So because that's what the muscle cells are full of carbohydrates. The muscle cells can look like they've filled somewhat.
Got it.
And so that's why we'll, when we get somebody ready for a bodybuilding contest or even for a photo shoot, we play with hydration, we play with carb loading, and we play, and then we deliver something on the day so that we create some vascularity and some size.
That sodium potassium pump, I've read about it, heard about it. How do you get that where it needs to be?
It's an incredibly simple ratio. It's 2 to 1. That's just the science of it. So when we talk about what's hydration, and I measure it through bioimpedance, bioimpedance will tell me what the muscle cells, how much water they're retaining, and the difference between intracellular and extracellular. So intracellular is within the muscle cell, and that should be 2 times the amount of volume as the extracellular. So the extracellular water is obviously your blood and whatever else is circulating through your system.
Yeah.
That's the ratio. And if it's off, you're either super hydrated, which is great, or you're dehydrated, which is the majority of people. Everybody every morning wakes up dehydrated. It's a guaranteed fact, right?
Right.
You've breathed all night, you've respirated, water molecules are going to escape,
and solve that.
And you're going to pee, and
And so, what should you be doing in the morning? Salt water, just regular
drinking
water?
I mean, number one, drink water. Okay, the best source of water is water. Just get it into your system. It's very difficult. People, what about that guy on the radio show that died, drinking too much water? Well, he's an idiot, but it's an idiot. Really difficult to do.
It's really, you're never going to get to that point.
Like, you could, but I wouldn't. You're going to know. You're going to know when you're getting close to that point.
Death by water. Yeah. What do you think about all these other things, like, daily, like the way that it's presented? If you look at a lot of these experts out there, every day, cold plunge, sauna every day, from the sauna to the cold plunge, and then whatever else, right? There's a million things I could talk about. Do this, do that.
Yeah, again, oversimplification, misunderstanding, thinking something's a holy grail when there's the time and a place for everything. And I think if there's a message that you want your listeners to understand, is there's a time and a place, and that includes nutrition and delivery, right? It's not how much you eat, it's when you eat. It's critically important to deliver the results that you're looking for.
What is that window while you're on it? Because if you're saying that's more important than just eating in general, if you're trying to build a physique and stuff like that, when you eat,
nutrient timing is I'm
how
not going to give away
that...
everything here today.
No,
I was kidding. Nutrient timing is so important in the window that you have immediately following training. You've created, so obviously maybe a lot of people don't realize this. Weight training is stressful.
Yes.
Right. But
Absolutely.
It is acute. You were, and this is the difference between chronic and acute. When you deliver stress to a tissue, it can handle it for a period of time, and then it can't, and then it breaks down, and then something catastrophic will happen, right? So that's why we limit the amount of time we have in the gym. So training all day long is not intelligent.
Not intelligent.
Understanding your glycogen reserves is intelligent. So knowing what you fueled up in, so what did you consume before this workout, so we know we're fueled. What do we have in our tank so we can get through the workout?
Yeah.
Understanding the recovery of the workout. And then knowing that the stimulus of exercise creates stress. Stress creates cortisol. Cortisol levels rise. As cortisol levels rise, the body starts to become unhappy.
Yes.
And the only way to turn that off is through insulin, right? And so now what we want to do is take the workout just ended.
Yeah.
Now we want to deliver, assuming your goal is to either repair muscle or grow muscle.
Sure.
The factors change, but right at the end of the workout, you're now insulin sensitive.
Yes.
Which means if you take in a shake for a good delivery system, you can do it through food, but food tends to break down a little slower.
Longer.
So a good idea is to take some dextrose, which is just a very simple sugar, which is actually virtually identical to blood sugar, chemically speaking. So you take in a small amount of that, depending on the size of the individual, enough to spike your insulin with water, with protein, and potentially with creatine. Creatine post-workout, a lot of people don't know this. Creatine post-workout is the best time to take creatine.
So it just rams it into...
You put those things in the cell, that little bit of dextrose it increases your insulin. The insulin picks up the protein and the creatine and jams it into the cell and commences repair immediately. So if you go and train and you have a great workout and you decide, I'm going to eat in a couple hours, you're staying in that cortisol catabolic state.
Wow. It's probably where I buck it up too much. Is not, I think it's super important. I think that's really, really key. Just doing it.
Nutrition. I mean,
the nutrition immediately.
Training, your muscles don't grow in
the
gym.
How long is that window?
It's pretty quick. I like to think that the window is closing in about 40 minutes.
Wow.
I would close it sooner than that. And then after I do my post-workout shake, usually within an hour, I actually have a meal.
So, I mean, it just goes back to that old school shake after the workout kind of thing. Just whatever. Just get a little sugar and get the protein in there.
Yeah. It's one of the little secrets that pays huge dividends.
I wonder if that's the answer for me, man. If that's going to turn me into a superhero. If I just start playing with that.
It's one of the ways, yeah.
Why don't I do that? I work out and then
that's a good question, Freddie. Why don't you do it?
Because I don't know. You're not.
We've known each other for a long time.
Yeah, I failed to get that little tidbit.
You did.
No, I've heard that before, but it's really interesting.
You decided not to listen.
Yeah, it could be that. No, I'll tell you exactly what it is. It's not convenient. I don't do shakes.
Not convenient?
I don't do shakes.
Oh, you don't do shakes?
I don't do shakes.
I mean, everything at the end of the day is kind of a pain in the ass, but the little things
it's not
are...
the pain in the ass factor.
Yeah.
It's just I don't do shakes. And then I'd have to, and I'll tell you what happens with me. And it probably is more impactful than I'm giving it credit for, because sometimes I'll walk right into a meal within that window. It just happens that way.
So the problem with the meal, and people are going to ask this question, like, well, can I put a banana in my shake? Or can I put peanut butter in my shake? And you don't understand that that's going to dull in the impact of the glycemic impact of the food. Right? That's why it's got to be super clean. Now, the food version of the same delivery system, I think might surprise a lot of people. The food version
is... You got to digest it, and it's a lot.
Yeah, because your body has to break it down, and it's got to be simple. So, and I think a lot of women out there might be shocked by the next answer. So the food version is rice cakes and some eggs.
Rice cakes and eggs.
Yeah. So
simple carb
that spikes insulin like crazy.
Spikes quickly.
Like one of the worst foods you can do to increase your insulin and potentially have a very negative impact on fat storage is a rice cake.
No shit.
Absolutely one of the worst foods.
Eating those before
people
I go
go,
to
bed. It's fat free. But that goes back to the 1980s mentality of low fat diet. It is the stupidest thing you can do.
But it's that quick kind of dextrose hit immediately after the workout.
Everything, I call it the paradox, the post-workout paradox. At the end of a workout, everything's inverted. You want to spike your insulin.
Yes.
That's the only time you want to do it.
Only time.
No other time do you want to do that.
Wow. And so if you're digesting, so if you eat, well, let me ask you this. You have to have the dextrose, because if you just do protein, say I drank a steak, you still need
put it in a blender,
but you still need the sugar.
You still need the sugar is very helpful.
Right.
Your body's still going to digest and use those foods, but it's not going to deliver as quick as it would had you done the dextrose. Now, dextrose is just a very simple form of sugar.
Yes.
You can use other forms of sugar. Dextrose is my choice.
And dextrose is probably in most protein shakes, I'm assuming. They probably have figured that out.
Not really.
Really?
No, you'd be surprised how little.
You'd be surprised
how little people have figured out.
You would think like a top-selling protein. I don't even know.
Most of the protein shakes. You know who did a terrible, let's say a good marketing job, but terrible information? Are the chocolate milk people, right? They came out. Yeah, they came out for a while and said, "Drink a chocolate shake, drink a chocolate milk right after your workout," because they were trying to allude that it had the same impact as what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
Right? They go, because there's sugar in it, obviously.
Sure.
There's milk, which is your protein source.
Yeah.
But it's slow and it's not great.
All right, so I gotta get to work on this, because I gotta concoct this after workout concoction.
You put it in your blender bottle when you walk into the gym.
I don't do blender bottles anymore. I'm like way fucking done with blender bottles.
Too fancy for blender bottles?
That's like 20 years ago, blender bottles and muscle milk and all that shit. I couldn't even tell you a protein brand out there, because I'm not into the shakes.
Yeah.
Only because I don't like that synthetic crap.
Well, there's better products than others.
And I don't eat eggs anymore.
You don't eat eggs, okay?
But actually, I would do raw eggs like I used to back in the day. That seems like a good. That and a rice cake is a nice delivery. Could we settle on just something?
The only thing people are going to hear on the show is I should eat rice cakes and eggs all day long.
Can we settle on something? Just eat something immediately.
Well, eating something is important because
ingest something.
Well, I don't want to send that message. Yes, you need to eat something. I prefer that something be a very simple delivery system of protein that enables to get in through the cell, which is powered by insulin.
Got it. Okay. And what do you think about? We'll just keep you on this for one more second. All these, we said diets, but keto, paleo, just goes on and on, right? What do you make out of all this? Well, marketing, or just is there a time?
A lot of it's marketing. A lot of it's people looking for catchphrases. A lot of it's a way to monetize, because it means like the term aerobics. They had to come up with a name because nobody's going to pay you to say let's go jump up and down. There has to be some brand behind it somehow. Yeah. And unfortunately, I think that's one of the flaws in society, is that people are always looking at a way to either gain fame or gain money, and it's not necessarily altruistic.
And the guys that are, you only have to eat 100% meat. What do you think of that guy or those guys?
Well, okay. So
sounds like you'd rather go that way than eat 100% vegetables.
Well, there's always an asterisk behind any of these statements, which they generally don't tell you. So another fascinating study that was done. What was his name? Wilbur Stephenson? No, not Wilbur. Last name Stephen Wilbur Atwater was the guy that did the USDA. Anyways, this gentleman lived in the late 1800s, and he decided to go explore the great north of Canada. And he lived with the Inuit Eskimo people at the time. Yeah. And the name of his book is escaping me. Yeah. But he, as you could tell, there was likely no 7-Eleven.
They only ate fat for their whole life.
It was the fat of the land. All they had, there was no vegetation of any kind.
Nothing.
He ate 100% animal product, mostly highly, highly fat, blubber and whatever else that they ate up there. But the food sources were very limited. And he did this for a long period of time. He was up there for well over a year. Yeah. He came back to New York and wrote an article for the American Journal of Medicine, I think. It was a medical magazine of some sort. And he said, I am in the best shape of my life, and I ate an all-meat diet. Yes. And they called bullshit. They said, not possible. Right. Humans can't do that. Right. You wouldn't work. And he goes, I'll do this. Lock me up in Bellevue Hospital, New York for 1 year, feed me nothing but meat, and you be the judge. And they did.
They did.
And then they said perfect health. Now, here's the caveat. We don't have that meat here, or we have to seek it out. Right. We're eating feedlot garbage.
Yeah, we don't have those products.
And then, I won't say the name of the brand, but there are some sandwich places that that pretend to sell meat. Yeah, it's not meat.
No, of course, of course. No, there's
where your source comes from is critically important. So grass-fed beef is as healthy as you can get. Yeah, it is. It's got every nutrient your body needs. Why? Because the animal you're eating ate the vegetation that you need. Right? Sure. So all of the nutrients are in that piece of meat that you are consuming. Now, I'm not recommending that that's what you should do.
No, of course.
But could you do that and be healthy? Yes, you could.
Do you think that at the end of the day, though, how well someone's going to do on those kind of, let's just call that more extreme, right? Just eat that one kind of macro.
Mm-hmm. I would never recommend that.
Depends on, no, I know you would, but depends on the person, right? I mean, because...
Well, you have to be able to stay sane. It has to be. Here's the thing that
can we all break down these foods? Like, what if our what if I have low lipase enzymes or I have shitty pancreatic enzymes?
People are different. I mean, are we? We're all carbon-based life forms, and we have some general similar characteristics, but we'll all react differently. And some have allergies, and some have even likes and dislikes are factors you need to consider. So at the end of the day, it's a lifestyle. What can you do? what do you want to do and what will you do for the rest of your life. Now, if you set a goal right now of saying, well, I'm just going to eat meat for the rest of my life, chances are you're not going to make it,
No, it's
right?
not gonna happen.
You know, you're gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
So it has to be realistic, but then be intelligent. And I really like a system that's I generally employ a 5-2 system. 5 days of the week, eat clean, really look at my macros, deliver for everything that I need. 2 days of the week, if I want to go a little crazy, those are the days I'm going to do it.
Have a meal here or there that's just whatever.
Yeah, and I mean, I eat pretty clean, but I mean,
Yeah.
I love pizza. I love
that's right.
burgers.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
so
What about the other side of the spectrum? All greens, all vegetables, all fruits.
there's never been a culture in the history of man that's survived that. You know, we live in a culture now where we can sort of manipulate it, but it's not normal. Now, I have a few clients that do go down that path, and it's a challenge.
It's challenging.
So can it be done? Yes. If you do it for ethical reasons and you love animals, great. I support you, and let's figure out a way to do it.
Yeah.
But from a health perspective,
It's hard.
I'm not a proponent.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think that's my point. I mean, people are just pushing one way or the other, and it's confusing for the consumer.
Extreme in any direction is not going to work.
Yeah.
Now, I always tell people that, you know, try something like what's the harm in eating eggs? You know, you're not really killing anything.
Right.
And it's a decent source of protein. I'm not a big fan of dairy products, but you know, you can do dairy. Pescatarian, I think, is a pretty healthy lifestyle.
Yeah.
I would say that the majority of all of the food in America right now, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. No.
It's really bad.
Yeah. No. It's atrocious.
Yeah, actually, I've teamed up. I'll give a little plug. I've teamed up with Morgan Freeman and Arnold Schwarzenegger, and we've created collectively. There's a good group called Food Fight, and we are trying to, and I'm trying to work and influence Americans to make better, healthier food choices, and more importantly, put some restrictions on the food manufacturers.
Absolutely.
And the sort of the dirty politics of talking about food and how they promote food.
Sure.
They're making things sound healthy that are not.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah. Well, that's amazing. That's an amazing initiative.
Yeah. I've been beating down that door for a long time.
I know you have.
It's a hard one.
Yeah. Well, maybe things will change a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know. It will only change through education and finding a trusted source. But there's so much information out there, and the majority of it is just crap.
It's still going to be tough for people that can't afford good food too, because the good
absolutely
food
not
is just, it's not.
It's not true.
You don't think so?
I wrote a book for an organization years ago. A good friend of mine, Lori McCreary, runs a Thanksgiving Day where she feeds a large population in the city on Thanksgiving Day, and I wrote a book for her. Healthy food cheap or something to that effect, and it can be done. You'd be surprised that good food doesn't have to be expensive. Is it? Yes. Can it be? Absolutely. But well, with the exception of today's standards, eggs used to be cheap, you know, and other foods that you get a can of tuna. There's a lot of things that you can do on a budget that is so much better than
what you're doing.
Soda pop and potato chips.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. Couple quick fire questions for you. What's the one habit that changed your life that you've employed?
What's one habit that changed my life?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I've had the same habit my entire life. I can't think of a single thing.
No?
A habit that changed my life?
Yeah. One kind of lifestyle habit thing that you've done that you've implemented that has been remarkable for you.
Well, I
it's
don't know.
Be something.
I mean, strength training is the key to life.
There you
That's
go.
all there is to it. But I mean,
you haven't stopped
I can't
doing
even
that.
call it a habit because it's never not been a part of my life.
It's never not been a part
ever,
of your life.
Never.
Well, I guess it's a habit.
I mean, when I was a kid, I was lifting whatever I could. Yeah.
You started early.
Yeah.
That's fair enough. I mean, that's a pretty good habit. Yeah. All right? I'll give you another one. What's the non-negotiable in your routine every day?
I gotta pee.
No, it's not a fair answer.
What's non-negotiable in my routine every day?
He's got to take a piss, folks.
I think at some point just having trying to find an hour to myself.
Can you?
Yes.
Good. Yeah, I like that one. Yeah. That's tough. That's not easy. I know how busy you are too. I mean, that's got to be tough. Yeah.
It's usually late.
It's usually late.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could recommend one book,
oh,
could be for guys or girls.
The first one that popped in my head was The History of Philosophy by Will Durant. It is a synopsis of 100 of the world's most famous philosophers.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
This is where I get all my book knowledge, by the way. I just bring people on and they recommend books.
Oh, right.
I'm home at Amazon just fucking loading up.
Yeah. History of Philosophy or The Story of Philosophy, one of those two. Will Durant's the author.
Will Durant. All right. We'll get that one. Yeah. Last one for you. What does it mean to be a good man?
I would say principle.
Principle. In everything.
Yeah.
I like that. Cool. Amazing. Well, this was fun.
I had a good time.
Yeah. Pretty informative. I got to pick your brain more. But thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Yeah. Grant Roberts, the one and only. Thanks, brother.